Whatever has a beginning must have an end. Today, the proceedings in terms of hearing of the petition filed by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, against INEC, against Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and against the APC has come to an end. We were able to call, that is Atiku and PDP were able to call 27 witnesses, some of them expert witnesses, star witnesses, in proof of our case. We tendered a deluge of documents which were all admitted and marked as exhibits in spite of strenuous opposition by the respondents. On the other hand, the reverse side of the coin is that INEC, on whom the burden of holding elections should actually lie as to whether the elections were free and fair, called only one witness. Secondly, the second respondent, Tinubu himself, only called one witness, Senator Michael Bamidele Okpeyemi, who yesterday was elected as the majority leader of the Senate. As to the strength or weakness of his evidence, that will be left to the tribunal. But the important thing is that we did grill him through the furnace of the fire to show that the evidence he gave was not credible, and to show that the documents he tendered, particularly the report on the FCT, as a symbol of status and as a fountain of unity of the country, which they themselves tendered, was actually in favor of the petitioners. We were also able to elicit from the witness that Tinubu did not win in his own state, and that he was the only presidential candidate that did not win in his own state. All others won. Atiku won in his own state, Peter Obi won in his own state, and Kwakonso won in his own state. That he did not win there. We were also able to enlist from the witness that of all the presidential candidates since 1999, none except Tinubu was in a position that he did not score 25%. All of them scored 25% and over, except Tinubu, who had 90-point-something%. All these things were put in evidence today. I think we have run a good race. The judgment belongs to this distinguished and honorable Court of Appeal, which is the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, to do justice to the case, which has been witnessed by the whole world.
Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. The ongoing Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has finished the first phase, and there's a lot of excitement in the camp of Peter Obi of the Labour Party and Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, because they believe The lawyers are excited in these two camps. They believe that they have done enough to be able to prove that Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu was not duly elected as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You can see the excitement in the voice of Chief Michael Zekome, because they feel that they have been able to demolish whatever evidence that was brought to justify the declaration of Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the winner of the February 25, 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. And there are a lot of grounds why they should be excited. It appears that there is going to be a shift in the political firmament of Nigeria, something that we have never seen in our political history. It's about to happen. All things being equal. At the end of the day, the final decision on the way forward for Nigeria and who is actually the true full winner of the presidential election will be determined by the courts. And you can bet that whatever is the outcome of the Presidential Election Petition Court, it will end up in the Supreme Court. Head or tail, it is the judiciary that will determine truly what happened on February 25, 2023. And I think the excitement of Peter Obi camp and Atiku camp is that the defense that was put to support Tinubu, APC, and INEC doesn't appear to convince most Nigerians from what they have seen, what they have heard emanating from the courts. The matter is not even helped in terms of the government side by the witnesses that they brought. Some of them, in fact, the witnesses they brought, instead of helping their case, was helping the cause of the Labour Party and the PDP. As you saw Michael Zekome confirming there in that video. The witness that was brought from INEC to prove that there were glitches couldn't convince anybody that there were glitches. At the end of the day, he was even more, his testimony appears to indicate that there were glitches. Because during cross-examination, it was obvious that there were no glitches. Because one of the giveaways to it is that if there were glitches, did they report it to the host? Amazon Web Services is the host of INEC server. If there were glitches on February 25 that made it impossible, which appears improbable, that the same machine that was able to transmit electronically House of Representatives results, senatorial results, went cold when it got to the time to transmit the presidential election result nationwide, thereby giving credence to those who believe that there was an internal sabotage to ensure that that presidential election result was not transmitted, so as to allegedly have the chance to manipulate it. The INEC Deputy Director, ICT, that was brought couldn't convince even a child that there were glitches. And of course, after his appearance, they closed their case. You would have thought that they would bring in more ICT people to convince Nigerians and the international community that indeed there were glitches. Although I heard from the grapevine, I can't substantiate it, that some of the witnesses they wanted to bring to justify their position chickened out because they still have conscience. They didn't want to come and lie under oath. They still have respect for their family names. They still believe that they cannot appear to defend the indefensible. That's what is circulating everywhere now. There are more witnesses that could have come from INEC who refused to show up. And they abruptly closed the case after the Dr. Lawrence, who was the assistant director, ICT. So there's a whole lot of things that is giving the camp of Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar hope that they did enough to be able to convince that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's declaration as the winner of the election was done in error. You can see that even the case of the witness for Tinubu, Senator Opayemi, he couldn't convince anyone. Instead, he made matters worse for Tinubu. For the first time, somebody from Tinubu's camp admitted that the $460,000 that Tinubu forfeited to the US government in the 90s was proceeds of narcotics. And also admitted on cross-examination of money laundering attachment to it. And that also helps when you situate that situation, that admittance to section 137, 1B, 1D of the 1999 Constitution that stipulates some of the conditionalities for a candidate to be disqualified from the presidential election. That his admittance is obviously part of the reason why the PDP and the Labour Party camps are excited, rejoicing. But of course, their rejoicing and excitement depends what the justices think about the testimonies of these witnesses. Take the case of the star witness of Labour Party, who came to prove there were no glitches on election day. She was able to convince a whole lot of people that Amazon Web Services functioned well. There were no glitches before, during, and after the election. So whatever happened was an internal sabotage. You would have thought that INEC will send more technical experts to convince the world. Because at the root of the whole crisis is the fact that that result was not transmitted as at when due. The European Union Observer Mission concluded that much. They also concluded about the fact that the processes, the calculations they use in tabulating the winners of the election are suspect because you cannot verify them. By independent sources, independent authorities cannot verify what INEC presented. You can see that both the report by the ECOWAS, by the European Union and everything is probably why the lawyers of Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar are excited. You can see in the case of the FCT, the issue of getting 25% being compulsory is enough to do a lot of damage. You saw Michael Zekome saying that, look, even the person they brought as a witness to come and justify that 25% was not needed in Abuja for anyone to be declared president, ended up helping Atiku Abubakar's position that it is compulsory, especially in the issue of definition of Abuja and separating it from the states. But even at that, anybody who have read that section 134 subsection 2b knows what the Labour Party and the PDP are talking about. The "and" in that statement had been judged in 2003 and 2008 as being conjunctive. In Buhari and Obasanjo 2003, in Yaradua and Atiku Abubakar 2008, the Supreme Court was clear that "and" is conjunctive. Now, if it is conjunctive, it means you have no choice. After getting 25% in 24 states out of the 36 states of the Federation, you must get 25% in Abuja. Because that section 134, subsection 2b, is clear, written in clear English, that for anyone to be declared the winner of the presidential election in Nigeria, the person must have majority of the vote cast, must get 25% in 2/3 of the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory Abuja. That "and" is not optional. And we all know what "and" means. If they say for you to get admission in a university, that you must have Maths and English. If you have Maths, you didn't have English, you can't go. This is simple English. Simple English. You don't need to even see the four walls of a classroom to understand that is compulsory. When they tell you, for you to get admission to study this course, you must get credit in Maths and English. If you have credit in Maths, you don't have in English, you know you are disqualified. If you have credit in English, you don't have in mathematics, you are disqualified. So what is so difficult for many people and Nigerians to understand that "and" in terms of requirements to get admission to study in Nigerian universities is no different from the "and" in section 134, subsection 2b. So that is some of the reasons why the lawyers of Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar are excited, believing that they are going to get favorable reports. But everything depends on what the justices think. Are they going to change their mind? Are they going to follow another direction? The and in that section of section 134, subsection 2b, is he going to have a different meaning in 2023 from what he was in 2008? That's what Nigerians are waiting to hear, and what the international community are waiting to hear. Take the issue of forfeiture. The issue of forfeiture had been dealt with before. In 2014, the Supreme Court defined what is forfeiture. You can't forfeit unless you have committed a crime or an act of dishonesty. So forfeiture means admission of crime. You have been found guilty. Because if you have not been found guilty, you have to protest your property being forfeited to the government. And in that forfeiture definition, it was in respect of Mohamed Abacha versus the federal government. Is the definition of forfeiture in 2014 going to be different from the definition of forfeiture in 2022? So there are so many grounds that could explain why there is so much excitement on the camp of Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi. But from all indication, Peter Obi is likely to be the major beneficiary of what is playing out in the courts, which, as I said, eventually it is the Supreme Court that will determine the final outcome of the 2023 presidential election. Because whichever way it goes now, it will be appealed at the Supreme Court. But Nigerians are hopeful that the judiciary, despite the reservations of most Nigerians, will rise to the occasion and rule according to the law, justice, and evidence, to the glory of God and to the applause of the whole world. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you will be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. God bless you and yours.